those of you who have been in the classes, a lot have heard me talk about confirming with John Roger about the angelic and the human bridging, becoming one. And I've seen as of late the human, angelic, devic, and elemental bridging. But really, even bridging is a misnomer because it's not about, oh, gee, we'll get to know our neighbors better. It's, it's really about the consciousness of God integrating, collapsing into itself and amplifying through its expression in the four disparate streams of creation. We talk about the angelic. If we had to express the lesson in one sentence, it would be angels are born in absolute surrender, oneness with God's will. And they evolve when they get to be around archangel to free choice. We are born in free choice once the veil drops, forgetfulness, if you will, and we evolve to absolute surrender. So they are born to where we evolve, and we are born to where they evolve. So as the human and the angelic are becoming one, that consciousness of God is both remembering and forgetting at the same time. So then you look at the devic. And of course, we're aware of angels. I mean, they go through every religion, philosophy, etc. And you go, well, they're not real, they're not tangible. How could all these different religions and philosophies have some version of an angelic presence? Because they're tangible, we are aware of them. Well, the angels are certainly aware of the humans. So they come in and overshadow and serve us to learn about free choice. So that's God learning about remembering and forgetting at the same time. And we experience in the angelic that absolute surrender, that messenger of God. Well, then you look at the devic. What is the lesson? What is God learning through the devic? What is God learning through the elemental? Elemental, air, earth, water, fire. Collective consciousness. If we have a glass of water here, we have the ocean. Well, is the ocean aware of what this glass of water is experiencing? Well, it's all water. It doesn't individuate like we individuate in bodies. But this is water. There's a beautiful, Muktananda had a beautiful analogy of God, that you have the ocean and that's God, and then you take a glass in and you scoop it up and that's God as well. That's a body, that's a soul, that's individuation. Now you pour that glass of water back into the ocean of love and mercy, and it goes back to God, into the allness of God, but it's just as much God in the glass. So a collective consciousness. Well, the devas sing the plants awake and alive and grow the plants through song. The devas will are connected to the elemental as closely as the angels are connected to the human. So the devas learn through the elemental collective consciousness, and the elementals learn through the devas individuation. So again, it's a different aspect of God commingling, if you will. Now when a deva evolves to like a mountain deva, they evolve to collective consciousness. When, let's take Earth evolves, which is an elemental, when it evolves to like the logos of a planet, it evolves to individuation. So you have the elemental evolving to where the deva is born, and you have the deva evolving to where the elemental is born. If you can more ride the energy of it into that singularity of God's purpose, which has been individuated into four streams. In my experience, those four streams are now intermingling and pouring back in like a waterfall into the ocean of love and mercy. And we are privy to that and can experience that as a waking, living reality and consciousness. And that's the opportunity of all this. And I am so thrilled when I've shared this kind of thing as I have been for maybe, 6 weeks. People nod their heads. They're like, yeah, of course. Oh, absolutely. And we did this kind of introductory big workshop in a room with some brand new people. And I first share out. And I'm like, okay, this is going to sound weird. And the guy's like, yeah, of course. Oh, absolutely. I'm like, really? Because I thought it was weird. And he's like, no, people, they don't think it's weird. I've been sharing this with people who've come who are not involved in anything we're involved in. They're like, yeah. So something is up. Something really beautiful and expansive and ordinary is up. The last couple of things I wanted to share about that is 2 consciousnesses. And it's interesting, I just want to let you in on my process and, be very authentic, because it's the first time I think I've shared with you where I'm not sharing from a consciousness, like from an archangel. I'm just sharing about my own experience. So it's different. And maybe that'll shift in a moment, but just wanted to, increase my intimacy with you. So 2 consciousnesses that I've become aware of. One is we've called the bright ones. And we did a meditation to the bright ones, and the bright ones are living manifestations of that bridging. And they take you out of your body pretty quickly. They are, if you could see what they look like they're very colorful, hence the name bright ones. They might look like a beautiful multicolored bird with feathers like an angel, with a kind of impish dancing quality of a deva, and they would sound like the song on the wind, like an elemental. So they're all 4 worlds at once. Definitely at least one present here. Stepped in through you. And her. So it's kind of sweet to watch them enter into people, because they often get this very big smile on their face, or this deep peace, or they go out of their body. The other consciousness I just got introduced to today, which called itself at the very end of the recognition, consciousness shifters. And so what they are is, there are, let's call it, there is seeming separation between the 4 worlds. Like, we're not as consciously aware of the angelic as we are of here, as we are of this, right? So there's seeming separation, except that you can be as aware of the angelic as just shifting your eyes right and left. And if you're going out of your body, don't try to stay in, just let yourself go. You can watch this later. Because until you get used to it, it can easily take you out of your body, and just best to just surrender to that. The consciousness shifters are, at first I call them wall crushers. They didn't like that name for some reason. But it's this like, it's like when what I kept hearing inside was like a kind of an ecstatic explosion as walls were just tumbling. Kind of like the Berlin Wall tumbling down. So walls between the worlds were just tumbling. Just very beautiful. Just God's loving increased, if there is such a thing, but really it's that, just the walls coming down. And these beings are ones that, to say they dismantle the walls is not accurate. To say they stand in the presence of the walls being dismantled by our consciousness is more accurate. So they stand and hold while we open our hearts, even with what's going on in our country and their seeming discord. Have you noticed how people have been coming together? It's been quite beautiful. So as we crush those walls, if you will, and just say, you know, Father, nothing is more important than the loving. They stand in, and they stand in and support that process. Well, that's going on with the worlds, where those walls are coming down. But really what it is it's like if you dream and then you awaken from the dream, it's not that somebody went in and bashed the walls down between the dream reality and this reality. You just shifted your consciousness. You just woke up. So as we go into these four worlds and this enhanced God consciousness, we're simply waking up. And that waking up is simply our consciousness shifting and going, oh, yes, I am the surrender of the Lord as I freely choose into that surrender. I am the collective consciousness. I am one as I am the glass of water, the individuation who knows itself as the ocean. I am all of that in full conscious awareness. So if you are called to experience more of that, you can call upon these presences. Perhaps you want to know yourself as angel, human, Devic, elemental. You can call on the bright ones. Perhaps you want to know yourself. Perhaps you want to know as the Lord knows the experience of all four worlds concomitantly in that enhanced God consciousness. Perhaps you might want to call on the consciousness shifters. Now, always, of course, you can call upon the Christ, the traveler, these different aspects of the Lord. Certainly they all play for the same team. And the action of the Christ, the Holy Spirit, is occurring in all four worlds, of course, concomitantly. And you can know that. All four at once, all four in one.